I think for this this new season of freelancing, or not even freelancing, but it feels like I'm still freelancing because I'm also working with other, like I've been communicating with other people for jobs. Yeah, it feels like I need to really tap into every avenue and just pursue it and try to grow it, as best I can. Bailey she really encouraged me, and she was like, hey, don't be discouraged because you're not where you want to be. You you started freelancing at the beginning of January. We're not even finished with January.
And you're already like signed, man.
But she's like, I know, she's like, that's a big, like, mark, that's a big thing. And you're like, you're expecting it to be like at this, in this like hyperdrive when you're not even there. Like you are there in a sense, but.
I'm going to start calling you Panic at the Disco. Do you know the history of Panic at the Disco?
Like, they just kind of went from zero to nowhere.
They played two shows. They played 2 shows, and then Pete Wentz came to one of those shows, signed them, had them open up for Fall Out Boy. Rest is history.
Wow.
They're Panic at the Disco.
I had no idea.
That's exactly what Panic at the Disco did, man. They were a Las Vegas little band. Had a set, played 2 shows, were solid at what they did. They're Panic at the Disco. You were working for... What company were you working for that you got let go for? What was that?
Paulus.
Okay. You were always involved in fashion. I remember did you work as a salesman or just like a greeter? It was like, what store was that you worked at? Prada. Mm-hmm. So you've always been involved in fashion. That's just, but now that you like she said, like you said, you became freelance less than 30 days ago, and now you're signed to a company. You're signed. That's like it's such musical terms for me. That's what in my mind. That's exactly what it becomes. When you're a musician, it's like starting a band at the beginning of January, and you're already signed to a label. Doesn't matter how big the label is, you're signed. Signed means something. It's a statute that someone sees what you do and is willing to put their name behind you. And it's a catalyst. It's do good, stay humble, keep doing what you're doing, but use that platform to get you to the next platform. What's the next? And that's how you are. It's clear that you're like, okay, this is good, but what's next? What's the next step? Well, keep focusing on what you're doing now, but yeah, always keep open mind to what's next. How do I transfer this success into what I want to do next? How do I transfer this audience into... I think that's the key in this specific day and age with the platforms that we have, is how do I convert this audience, this audience that's already comes with this company and with this statute of being signed. How do I convert that audience into becoming personally invested in who I am, and how do I get them to then follow me over to this platform where I'm in control of my Instagram page, I'm in control of my Facebook page, I'm in control of whatever medium I choose to do. And then at that point, I think that's almost the ultimate goal, is becoming a completely independent, is becoming... What do you feel like doing today, Josué? Do you want to do videos? Do you want to act? Do you want to do plays? Do you want to do just photography? Do you want to create art? Do you want to paint? What do you want to do? And having an audience that doesn't just love what you do, they love you. So whatever you do, they're going to follow. And I think that's the key of what this medium is nowadays, where people don't just love Logan Paul videos. They love Logan Paul. So whatever he does, they're gonna love. And that's with YouTubers, that's with That's actors. I mean, you know, I have such a crush on Kristen Bell. I think she's the best. And so I'll support whatever she does, because it's all about building that relationship with that person, so then they feel like they know you. Like every podcast I listen to, you feel like you know Mike Gary. You feel like you know whoever you're listening to, because if you listen to it such on a regular basis, they give you such vulnerability and insight to their life, where you feel like you've spent time with them. When you listen to them talk, you feel like you're spending time with them, even though you're really not. But then that develops a relationship that you care about them. You want to financially, it's kind of relates even back to the church, where you want to financially support them. If someone that you're very invested in goes, hey, I'm starting this new venture, I'm trying to raise this much money to kind of get this project started for this film, independent film I'm trying to create, or this, this music video that I'm trying to shoot. If people love you, Josué, and they love everything that you've done, it's easy and natural for them to want to support that. Be like, yeah, dude, I love that dude's photos. I love his videos. Yeah, I'll donate $10 to support this independent project he's trying to do, because I want to see it. I want to know what it's going to end up like. It's going to happen. If anything, you just got a bigger platform now. You got other people's resources that you get to use. Make new connections, build new bonds.
Yeah, there was another company that reached out to me, and I don't know if it's a conflict of interest, but I told them that I'll meet with them.
Good.
But they're kind of in like this weird, they just got capital from the same, I forget the name of the company, but they just got an investor, same company that invested in Lyft when they were launching.
Good.
And like another big modeling agency.
Clearly they have vision, they have wherewithal to see when something's going to catch.
Yeah, and they got a great investor too, so I was just like, wow, I should probably go sit and talk to them. They approached me like 2 years ago, and I was like, I'll join you guys, like, I'll join your venture. It was more of like, we are getting models on our platform so that they don't need like a agent. People can just go to them directly.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool.
That sounds cool, And I joined it, and it was very like minimal, because it was very unorganized. But it seems like now they're like trying to like reformat everything, and they're like, hey, what's going on with you? Would you like to meet with us? Let's like sit and talk.
Yeah.
So
sounds like a good meeting to go in with, like a little bit of a notebook and going like, hey, these were my concerns when I first started with you guys. Obviously, I've been a part of the beta process of what you guys started off like. These are my concerns, A, B, and C. Address those. Are you guys still doing the same process, or do you guys fix these things? Because that's the beauty of conversation. Is free. It's easy. There's no conflict of interest to talk to somebody, but you are only as good as your opportunities. And nowadays, that's all this business is about, is opportunities. Taking advantage of all the opportunities. As long as, until it comes across, you have to make decisions, and that is what it is. Obviously, if you sign with one company and they're like, yeah, you can't sign with them, you got to pick one of us. Well, then you got to make a decision. And, not making a decision is making a decision.
It is making a decision, yeah.
At that point, you use your wisdom, you use your advice, and your counsel of people that you trust to help you make the best decision. But right now, it's just opportunities, which is great. Because at the end of the day, you want to do what's best for your brand, and your brand is you. Your company right now represents your brand. But at the end of the day, it's your brand. And that's what to keep in mind, is that you have the control, you have the power. No one's going to be you better than you. No one's going to represent you better than you. Other people may have bigger connections and they have more pull and they have more opportunities. That's great. Use those resources to help better your brand. Because at the end of the day, you're in control of your brand. And that's important, is to keep that power of your brand in your hands. You don't want to let anybody else control your brand. Because that's when you get misrepresented. That's when you have to deal with people, it just becomes red tape. You got a good brand.
You can't take any credit for it, for sure. But
who else would take credit for it? Nobody else was modeling for you. No one else was representing you until now. And even then, that's why you always want to be in control of your brand, because you want to make sure that they're representing you well, It's their job to get you some more money, which is good. At the same time, you don't want them to misrepresent you and be like, yeah, Josué does this, and he's about this, and when you're like, actually, I'm not about that, I'm willing to be open-minded and be able to go with the flow, but that's not, you don't misrepresent me. And that's obviously, I don't think that's happened yet, but you always want to keep in control of that, because, again, no one else can be you but you, and no one else can do you better than you. Doesn't matter if there's an attractive black man out there, he's not going to be you, because only you are you. And that's your advantage over everyone else, is that no matter how anyone else tries, they can't be you, because they've never lived your life experiences. They've never gone through what you've gone through. So they can never be you. And that's one thing they can't take away from you.
That's good. I'm going to write some, as you talk, man, I'm getting some great ideas to just sit and jot.
Good, man. Jot them down. That's what I've gathered. That's the wisdom that I've gathered from all the YouTubers and podcasters that I've listened to, is that instead of trying to recreate what's great and try to mimic what's popular, it's do only what you can do, because no one can ever mimic you. That's what makes the greatest comedians, the greatest pastors, the greatest anybody, is that no one else can do what they do, because they're not them. I've yet to find another Mike Gary that I love as much as Mike Gary, because there's just not. Mike Gary is who he is. There's a lot of people out there that are great speakers, but they're just not him. There's a lot of other great musical bands out there that are like Hillsong, but none of them are Hillsong. And that's why exactly it causes me to reflect on what I do, that where I go, I don't want to try to be like these other vloggers. What do I do naturally every day that I can do and be passionate about? And that's what I want to do. No one else can have the relationship that me. No one else could have this exact same podcast right now, because no one else is going to have this relationship with you besides me and you. The relationship that me and you have, no one else has that same relationship. Just like you and Bailey, no one else has that same relationship. They could be as close to you as they think they are, is possible, but no one's going to have that relationship. And you only have that relationship because I am who I am, you are who you are, and we have a history of what we have. So no one else could have this kind of conversation. It's the truth.
Yeah, thanks for that, man.
Yeah. I'm super honored that you'd come all. To be honest, that's why I'm stoked, because you drove a hell of a long way to come out here, man.
It's a nice drive, man. I actually just turned on YouTube and I was like, oh, let's see what's out there. And I recently got into VR. I really want to get
VR.
VR.
Is dope, man.
Dude.
There's two forms, man. The major companies nowadays are investing in two things. It's either VR or AR or